Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Today, I'm first of all going to play in full the World War II Zombies reveal trailer so that you guys can basically lap it all up, and then I'm going to be diving into the breakdown and showing you all the things that we found in my reaction stream that I've just finished doing because we spotted the mystery box, we spotted a potential perk machine, we spotted something mysterious to do with Dr. Straub, bunch of things that we want to be jumping into, but first, here's the full trailer.
I have seen a vision of our Führer's future. The death of the old world and the birth of the new. Can you hear it? Drums. The drums of war. The march of progress. I have built more than just a new kind of soldier. I have created the devil himself.
Pre-order and get access to the private beta.
Right, you have seen the trailer now. Let's get down to business with the breakdown, okay? What I've done in this is I've actually put an effect on this that's going to brighten things up. So this shot, for example, would normally look like this. Wait, no, like this, sorry. And now looks like this. So it's a little bit easier to see, okay? So we're going to be basically going through and trying to spot anything we can of interest in this entire thing. We'll go from beginning to end. I'm not going to, like, jump to the end and then jump back again and all sorts of business. So that's basically going to be the plan. We kick things off. We've got these houses here that you can actually see into. So really, really detailed, which is awesome. I also think the clock tower is probably going to be fairly important. This is Mittelberg after all. The moon in the background, the mountains in the background, which we've obviously had a reference to in the storyline stuff that they've been releasing. Lots of iron crosses, and we also see some interesting stuff in the courtyard itself. So, first of all, little post office, a D or die post, however you pronounce it. There's also this weird kind of sort of bluish glow that got pointed out to me in my stream by a viewer. Not sure if that's of any particular meaning, but it's there, so I figured I would mention it at least and let you guys draw your own conclusions. You've also got this sort of milk canister kind of thing just chilling out in the courtyard there, and then there's the basically sort of well type area with the red light thing next to it. There's obviously another one next to it as there as well, but that well thing that we saw in the teaser trailers that they released via USBs via certain YouTubers over the last couple of days. So that's basically the context on this opening shot. Really rather spooky stuff, and I love the way they do this next bit, okay? What they do here is they pan through a grate, okay? So they're literally going through this grate in the floor. You can see that it's basically going down some kind of pipe, and then we pop out of the pipe, and we're in the level below. And you can see this absolutely grotesque-looking trap thing. Don't really know what its purpose is going to be. There's this thing on the left that looks like it has a big red button on it, so that's probably going to activate the trap here. The guts and blood and gore and goo on the floor looks horrendous. The shape here kind of looks like a skull to me, but that's probably just me seeing things, to be honest. And then we go through the floor again, and we see this. Glorious. The third level. So there are 3 levels, it seems, going down below the street. There's another and another. And basically sort of pretty standard kind of Verrückt-inspired stuff, I'd say here. Operating bench with some surgical lights. You've got what looks like a bone saw on that table just there. This hunk of meat that we're going to be seeing a couple times, actually, that sort of thing is going to basically resurface a fair amount through this trailer, so I'll point that out momentarily. Maybe something to sort of cremate remains in over there, and a desk in there as well that we're going to see in another shot in a little bit as well. Also, what looks like some heads in a box there, which is fantastically gruesome. And I think there was one other thing in this shot. Oh yeah, this like kind of pig trough of just blood. Absolutely horrible stuff. And the sort of big saws here as well. Obviously really, really cool to see. So we then move on to the next shot just after this little black screen. Lots of black screens, by the way, in this trailer. They have done a fair amount of that in this one. I personally am not a fan of black screens in trailers. I really don't like the vibe that it kind of brings in when I'm breaking stuff down. But that's because I'm trying to break stuff down rather than just watching the trailer normally. So I guess it's not a complaint that most people have. These images that we actually saw in the teaser material, not that obviously, but that is an image we saw in the teaser material, and I said looked like the face of Bo in my video the other day. I meant it looks like, I think it was called Cassandra or something like that. Same episode as the face of Bo, but you've got what looks like some scissors there as well. That was like the handle of some scissors. This mask looks horrendous. Don't know exactly what the deal is there, but I mean, it looks like it's like been sewn together out of human flesh. Like, it looks horrible. Like, it doesn't necessarily look like that's leather. That might actually be human flesh there, which is really, really gross. Sledgehammer Games, which is less gross. I'm loving the vibe that these guys are conjuring up, so they definitely have a positive in my book right now. This is really cool as well. So here, you can see that it's basically flicking between different things on the screen itself. You've also, just before I forget, got this actual model of a zombie in front here, so that's something worth noting. And also a Roman numeral of a 1 on the wall. Unless that's meant to be something else, quite interesting, but it looks like it says something like Fura or Furir or something, and then a word that's very hard to make out, but maybe begins with a CH, like a chaperone type thing. Obviously, that's not what it says, because that's not German, but kind of hard to make out what it says there. But you can kind of see what something looks like on the screen. Let me get rid of my brightness enhancement. Very difficult to see what's on the screen there, to be honest, but it then flickers through to another word that I believe is Deutsch. Something like that. That's what it looks like to me, at least. And then it goes back to the original word there as that sort of changes. So, don't necessarily see a massive amount there, but we at least see a little bit of detailing, which is cool. Speaking of detailing, this hat looks absolutely wonderful. Really liking the look that they're going for there. No swastikas, of course. It's the Iron Cross, and you've got the Iron Cross in the background as well. So, that's definitely the vibe they seem to be going for. Some of you may or may not like that. I'll leave that for you to decide in the comments down below. This shot was the shot that I was so happy to stumble on when I was doing my live breakdown, because we found the mystery box. This thing in the bottom left here, if I go out of full screen real quick, let me say I'm at 32 seconds just so I have my timestamp. I'm going to zoom in on this bad boy, and then we're going to go back to full screen, and I'm going to go nice and slowly. This thing, I am convinced, is the mystery box. Why? It's mystery box shaped, it's got question marks on it, on both sides, it's lit really spookily, it's on a kind of podium just like a mystery box. It's gotta be the mystery box. Seriously, so happy I spotted that. And there's like a kind of brooch on the front as well with maybe another question mark on it. Either way, it just looks really, really cool. Like super, super cool. So this shot is hella detailed. It looks like, in this area, essentially, we're going to be able to run from this back bit and maybe through a door there, all the way down in front and around. There's also this radio thing that we see in another shot in the future as well, so that's something that's worth pointing out. And this thing as well that almost looks like a coffin in like a kind of white tarpaulin, but this back bit, the thing that I think a lot of people might be missing right now is that if I again just basically, double click on that, and zoom and enhance. In fact, you know what? I can just go like this, and we can enhance to like 700. Let's even go even further. Let's go 800, or something like that. It looks like that is a map. So there's a map, just like in, for example, Kino der Toten or something, or like a Garod Krovi or one of those. It looks like that's a map to me. Let's just kind of scoot that back. Hold on, if I go back out of full screen just to scrub back. There it is. So, I reckon that's a map. I don't think there's anything else that it could possibly be. I mean, it looks like it says, like, Untertage or something like that. I'm guessing. It looks like that's what that says. So, really, really cool stuff. If I get this out out of full screen again now. There we go. And then we can go back into full screen. So looks like there's a map back there. There's also this interesting canister thing that I believe we're going to see in a moment, which is really, really cool. And it gives us an idea of the scale of this area as well. So, and also this machine, right? Like, what's the deal? This big ball with, like, stuff that gets plugged into in the rail, like, Pack-a-Punchy related? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But we're going to keep going through that shot there. We're going to see this drawing of basically a zombie that looks like it actually has two heads. Because there's this head here, coming out of that part of the spine. And then there's just another head, just right there. So is that a two-headed zombie? I mean, bruh, I think it is. I legit think that's a two-headed zombie, which is pretty damn nuts. That would be a first, minus the Margwar, etc. But then we go into this shot, and this is really, really cool. More material that we had in the teaser viral campaign. We can't really make out what the text says here. There's more of it than in those viral campaign teasers. But we also have this interesting kind of Roman numeral 1 again that I pointed out before. Make a note to yourself of that. That's very, very interesting for sure, in my opinion at least. So we see these images scrubbing through. We then see this, and this I thought was really cool because it's like a Dr. Maxis type vibe. This guy's having his brain cut out, or maybe something inserted beneath the brain. Really, really horrendous. And you've then got that knife sticking to some kind of meat on the table as well, and another shot of that kind of Roman numeral 1. There's also some stuff on the side there, but pretty difficult to make anything out from that, so we'll probably need more information about what exactly the deal is there just in the future. Here's Dr. Straub. Now, a lot of people were saying that Dr. Straub has no face. There's two things I want to say about Dr. Straub, okay? One, I think he has a face, okay? I do think that it's there because in this first shot, if we zoom in just a little bit, you guys should be able to see that you can see, like, the kind of side part of his face pretty clearly. So, in my opinion, he definitely does have a face. Like, that's definitely the way that I'm sort of treating this right now, is he's not like some kind of half-faced, two-faced person. But the thing that I wanted to point out is that I'm intrigued by the fact that throughout the entire trailer, you're getting these nice, crisp, clean shots, right? All of this is very, very clean. There's no kind of sort of, I guess, almost like disable resample has been ignored and, like, forgotten kind of thing. Like, there's been no kind of weird stuttering effect, no kind of flitting between different views of things. It's all been very crisp and clear-cut, okay? As soon as we get a little bit further through and get back to Dr. Straub, what I want you guys to notice is that we go from all of these clean shots to it kind of fading in and out, and it's almost like we're in some kind of mental asylum. There you go. Like, that kind of gas effect on him, I could be reading into it too deep, but it goes from first seeing him to almost like a scarecrow kind of noxious gas type thing, where you see him and then suddenly he starts phasing out. And then he goes to the next shot as well, and he's, by the way, obviously got the eagle on his chest there, and he's phasing around again, and it's just like, are you tripping? Are there some kind of hallucinogenics being involved here? Is the player going to have some kind of visual trip? Like, what's going on? So, he walks through. We see this trap basically spinning around that looks quite cool. Can we make out some numbers in the background? Maybe that's like a 209? Possibly? Kind of hard to tell, to be honest, but we've also got some kind of circular thing on the wall there. Don't really know what that is. Then we see this. This is what I pointed out before, right? This door looks beautiful. So beautiful. It says halt. No entry or something. No autorisieriks trespassar werden I don't speak German. Sorry for butchering the language. I apologize to all of you guys. But we see the door. Looks phenomenal. We then see this really interesting corridor that is full of zappy zaps. And this thing is a recurring theme throughout this entire trailer. Reminds me of the Wunderwaffe, but obviously this is an area of a map rather than the inside of a gun. There's this very quick shot of a zombie basically getting like, oh, hey, hello, okay, so there's one frame of this being clear. 10 out of 10. So we can see the roof really clearly. We can see this zombie wearing a cap. That zombie in the front, to be honest, like, the kind of shape of it sort of reminds me of Dempsey. Not really sure why. Not gonna lie though, that's kind of what the vibe I get there is. Like Dempsey, that one shot of him in the Black Ops 3 Revelations trailer holding the Ragnars and like slamming them down, that's what I think of when I see that. So the electricity's kind of arcing through, you got those two zombies in there, and then we see a shot of it when it's kind of not arcing, and then it arcs again, so that entire area just looks really, really interesting to me. But then we see the door, okay? and the door opens. Really exciting. Slowly slides open, and then we jump into the next shot, and we see this bad boy. And this is so cool. Oh my goodness me. Like, I was saying this in my stream, we have gone from Black Ops 3, the biggest Zombies has ever been, ever, to Infinite Warfare Zombies, which has been disco and dancing and meme and stuff like that. And then we come to this. Bro, Zombies is home. So, one thing I want to point out here is that look at its arm. Second thing I want to point out, sorry, is look, there's just a hand floating in the air. That's weird. It's not the zombie's hand because it's the wrong hand, so thought that was interesting. There's also this weird hunk of meat in the bottom right and some sort of tiling on the floor there. Loads of meat just going everywhere, to be honest, in this shot. And look at its face. Look at its face. I mean, this is really jaw-dropping, to be honest. I'm sorry, that's a recycled meme. But, yeah, really, really looks absolutely gruesome. I love it. I mean, just look at that, dude. Zombies needs this stuff. Then there's another one, and that one looks horrible as well, and it comes into focus, and you can see its teeth look all gnarly, and its lip is hanging off, and its tongue is hanging out of its mouth, and its ear's been bitten into or something, and it's just gross. Just so gross, dude. So then we go to the next shot, and this is something that a lot of people have been saying, oh my god, third person confirmed for. I can confirm to you guys now that this is a first person mode, 100%, that has been confirmed by the devs. Also, this, I believe, is the black dude, whose name I can't remember in-game. I think he's been played by, like, Ving James, I think is the guy's name. Ving Rames, something like that. But it looks like he's holding some kind of STG-style gun there. There's also this thing that in my breakdown in my stream, I was like, oh, this looks like some kind of, like, heart valves. Like, that's interesting, but we'll see it a little bit later, and you'll see that it's actually just some sort of coils, so we will get to that, but let's focus on the zombies in this shot. This one's kind of wearing, like, some kind of almost, like, naval-looking thing, maybe? It's really hard to make out because it's so blurry, but they come through. It's very, very desaturated in this shot as well, which is really interesting, and, I mean, just look at that zombie's face. Seriously, that's like a kind of face. Someone screenshot that. No, don't. But yeah, like, I mean, it just looks absolutely grotesque. You can see the intestines of this one hanging out. Horrible stuff. I love it, though. And then we go forwards, and I believe there's a little bit of a gap here, and then it runs into, yes, this freaking shot. This is such a good shot. You got zombies burning in the background, and this one kind of lead zombie just looking mean as hell. Then we see it running through here. I can confirm that the translated German up top there says butcher. That's what Schlachter is, I believe at least. And you've also got, again, that Roman numeral 1 on the wall. And you've also got some interesting kind of railing in the background there. In fact, let's see if we can see any other zombies looking particularly interesting. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out of full screen again and just bump the zoom on it. Let's do it that way. So it looks like, actually, we can somewhat make out a couple more zombies back there. And what is that? Wait. Hold on. Is there like some kind of massive monster back there, or is that just a zombie coming through? I feel like it's a zombie coming through, but that's like very spooky stuff. So we're moving on. Schlachter. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not, but I'm going for it. We see this shot here. Note the hand rolling around down there. I thought that was quite funny. And this kind of gas canister as well. Very interesting stuff. The zombies are running through, and just look at this one's. Look at his hand. Look at his hand. Ugh. And then it's got no arm on the other side. Oh my god, I didn't realize that at first. The electricity's arcing in the background still. So this is, again, like I was saying, that electricity corridor. And then this is beautiful. So much blood. We see some kind of thing on the left, but pretty much impossible to see what it actually is. It's the kind of crematorium type thing that I was mentioning at the beginning of the video. If you guys remember that kind of opening shot when it goes down into the downstairs area. But I don't really know what that is. Some kind of electronic, or rather, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Do we see anything on the right here? No, there's a doorway, but that's as much as we see. Then we go forwards and... I've just realised. There's bubbles in the blood. Yuck, there's loads of them. Okay, that's gross. So we're zooming through, chains on the ceiling. Doesn't look like there's much else to start off with in the shot other than some guts on the floor. Some barrels back there and some sort of generic crates. Then we see this thing and the pool of blood coming down, which I love. That's such a wonderful touch. Barrel on the right there. Some other kind of hooks and business there, and maybe another trap switch, which is maybe recharging in that shot, because I think we saw that red before. So I'm assuming yellow is like it's recharging or something, maybe. I don't really know. But, wait, no, actually, maybe yellow's in use? I don't know. So we're zooming in on this thing, and there's like a green light behind it as well, and there are the 4 lights above it. So I'm guessing that that's something that we can kind of bring down. Basically like our elevator, our lift type thing. This shot's really, really cool. This is, I'm assuming, the Sword of Barbarossa. This is a shrine to Barbarossa, Frederick I. There's this interesting, intricate-looking machine in front of it, which I reckon might be something to do with the hilt of Barbarossa, because this thing kind of looks like a hilt. Kind of. You've got a lot of kind of sprockets and bits and bobs and wires and levers and all sorts kind of looking like they're attached to that thing, so hard to say exactly what that machine is for. There's a lot plugged in there, but definitely intriguing, and Barbarossa's obviously very important because of all the teasers that we've had so far in the viral campaign. Then we see this zombie coming through in this kind of darker area, you'll notice. Like, if this is like this in-game, if the character has like a flashlight, that's going to be scary as hell. Like, seeing these things just jump out of nowhere, bruh, I'm going to poop myself. So, that thing, let's just freeze on a frame there. Looks straight out of Doom, and I love it. Absolutely beautiful looking thing. One arm is gone, the other is half gone. Really, that thing got wrecked. And look at that, dude. Like, imagine if there's a dark area again, and you whip out a torch, and that is in your face. Oh, it's going to be glorious. It's going to be so glorious. So then we see sort of zooming on here, and this is the shot that I was mentioning before, I think. So we see some interesting sort of machinery there, filing cabinet, basically some boring stuff, really. But then here, this meat looks so interesting to me. I don't know... Hold on, let me just drag that up. I don't know what the deal is with this stuff. Like... I don't know, dude. I think it's a person and another person, like, on the same bench. But that hand doesn't look like a human hand. It looks like a claw almost. So, it's just gross. I mean, this whole kind of area is just such a beautiful shot. Seriously. We have seen this area before, like I mentioned. There's the saw again. There's what I'm assuming is Udo, actually. In fact, let's zoom on that as well, just because I feel like that warrants some zoom right now. I feel like it's Udo, but there's nothing in his hand you can see. Like, he's facing away from the camera there, and it looks like he's pulling something out. Oh, wait, no, it's a zombie, is it? I think it's a zombie. That makes sense why there's... Yeah, it's a zombie, okay, because you can see the metal canister on its back. So that's not actually Udo, that's not Straub, Dr. Straub, which I initially thought it was, so that's good to know. But yeah, there's a zombie, metal can on its back, just hacking away at something. And then this is... Oh, hold on, I need to zoom out. That's why that looks so weird. Let's zoom out. There we go. Back into full screen. Interesting looking shot. Some stuff in a cage there as well, or like a container or something. Just generally looks absolutely brutal. Then we see one of our characters wearing glasses, kind of like Straub actually, except it's not Straub, you can kind of make out. But that'll be either Tennant's character or... Yeah, I think that's probably the character played by David Tennant, which is really exciting. Holding what looks like some kind of pistol, M1911 or something, who knows, I'm not an expert on guns, but it certainly looks along those lines at least. Some kind of Colt. Zombie in the background there, and that, by the way, is the mystery box behind it. Like, that red light. Oh, are we going to get a good shot for it? Oh, kind of. That kind of shot there is the mystery box and the radio that I said we would see at another point before. So, that's what we're seeing in the background there. Oh, yeah, there's another shot. Okay, okay. There we go. So, then we see the zombie walking forward, and just admire its intestines for a second, guys. Like, seriously, it's gross. We're going to keep going through, though. It kind of stumbles through past, again, that same area that Udo, or not Udo, rather, it wasn't Straub, was in before. We see this zombie again, looking absolutely horrible. Looks like it's in a fair amount of pain as well, so that's always interesting to see, I suppose. Then it's going to keep going a little bit further. I think this is the long black period before it goes into this shot. Yes, so... Sorry, I'm losing my voice. We basically see these sort of machines starting to get into work, and is someone loading something in there? No, it's just rotating on the bottom right. Okay, light goes on, maybe Pack-a-Punch inspired or something, but this is a really interesting shot. Coils below, old kind of like, statue, like, stone something or other in the middle, hand on top, coils around the hand, and further machinery plugged into it. Really, really exciting. I don't know exactly what this is going to entail, but just think about this, okay? If they're doing this experimentation on the zombies, what if we were able to use some of those kind of features as the player? Like some kind of electricity thing bound into our hand. I think that would be dope as hell. Then we see these really, really fast shots of this zombie looking basically just dead. Like, it looks dead to me. You can also see these spikes here. We'll come back to those momentarily, but I've got to basically keep going. There's Udo, and this is why I was saying you can really tell that he has got a face. We can basically put that rumor to rest. So he's there, and it's interesting that we do see so many shots of him. That really does interest me a lot. But he's around with some meat in the background or something. And then we get another shot of the canister here. And there's a hand on there as well, so you can see the hands of what I'm assuming is the sort of subject inside. Looks like it says Halten Sie Hind in Getrieben, something like that. And then, oh, okay, so we do see basically the zombie inside momentarily. And this is why I say we'll come back to it. Look at this. It has the iron cross sewn into its chest. Absolutely horrible. And a bunch of stitches. That wound looks open, and it's just, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible. But I love it so, so much. Again, zombies needs this. One zombie breaks through there, looking rather angry. Does not look like a happy chappy at all. That's actually a really cool shot. Just like that kind of way it swings around like that. I really, really like that. That's super cool. And some blood on the left there. But then we see the flaming zombie with more flaming zombies in the background. I wonder how they got on fire. Flamethrower, please. That thing looks like maybe like a, almost like a foul. But obviously that's the wrong kind of thing. So some kind of basically rifle. I'm trying to figure out where I recognize that, those iron sights from. Is that like a Gewehr kind of thing? Like a something like that? I'm trying to remember from World at War, but I'm not 100%. Kind of reminds me of the bar as well. The way he's holding it and just like the general overall shape of the gun looks like the bar to me a little bit. But actually, no, maybe it's not so... yeah, it might be full auto. Might be. Hard to tell. For me, at least. So, those spikes are basically the inside of the chambers where those things are being kept. That seems to be the way that they're going with it. So, this is basically in the chamber, and then, so it's in there, it breaks out, so that thing completely comes off its hinges, it goes bright, and I believe the spikes are basically in that chamber thing. I think, that's what I'm assuming at least. That thing then starts coming out with a big visor on its head, and you can kind of make out, actually, this is really interesting, I couldn't see this before. There's one of the eagles, like, on there, and it's like a gold actual sort of statuette of it this time, on that desk, almost like that's some kind of relic or artifact or something that's going to draw the player's attention, which is really cool. So I'm glad that I've spotted that. Then some more zombies in the background here, and this thing's coming through what looks like the kind of lift area. And again, a really, really good shot of that zombie with basically just no jaw, and its intestines are like coming out of its chest, and it's just like, bleh, that's so gross. This one has something in its spine, which is really interesting. Exo-zombies, please no. But also has something in the back of its head, which is just like, oh, it just unsettles me to think about that, like, literally. The idea of there being something plugged in, like, the back of your head there, which is such a vulnerable spot on your body. Oh, it just makes me cringe, dude. So, that's that shot there. And then we see the freaking club that this zombie has. This shot's pretty crazy, because we do kind of see some electronics in the background, but really hard to make out what exactly that is. Like, it's motion blurred for a bit, but then there's some kind of, like, spire type thing back there. Zombie looking absolutely mean as hell. Also some kind of lights there, suggesting that that is actually probably a mystery box location while the box is there. That's what I'm guessing is the scenario here. Because before, we saw a very similar light, but it was red. If this is green, does this mean that the box is present in that location at that moment in time? Maybe. And also, that looks like the gold eagle that we saw in the previous shot. So maybe that's another box location. And maybe that's something that they're using to basically describe where the box is or show us where the box is. Really, really cool. So this shot, we see our two female characters actually, which is really, really awesome to see. And they're basically running through the lab here. Bunch of stuff kind of hanging up. I believe this is one of the female characters. Yeah, because she's got a ponytail. I'm pretty sure that's one of the female characters. I just assumed her gender. Fight me in the comments section. This stuff on the table here looks still absolutely gross. And a lot of people have been saying that that looks like a perk machine. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. PhD confirmed, because it's sort of purplish. Kind of hard to make out. I'm intrigued by that thing. I don't know what it is, but definitely intrigued by it. So they run through, bunch of sort of bits and bobs on the left-hand side. Then there's a pistol there that, I mean, the freaking flare on that thing makes it look like a goddamn shotgun. But that first shot is really, really nice. Zombie gets wreckerinoed. You got a tank in the back as well. So they fire the shotgun. I'm guessing that stops the zombie. But it won't stop this bad boy, who's got the big truncheon, big club. We see this explosive shot, and this is actually really cool, right? Look at this. So when it goes into this shot, it's very, very blurred, and there's character running away and stuff, so it's hard to tell what's going on. But as the explosion goes off, look at how it just flings the zombie back. Like, I love that, dude. The way it kind of gets jibbed, and you can actually see it impacting the wall there as well, like the ragdoll physics of it impacting the wall. Just looks great. Like, oh, and there's that box again. That interesting orange box. Oh, this is above ground, because there's a street name. I didn't notice that originally. Nice. Cool, so we know that that's above ground now, I'm assuming at least. So that's good. There's the zombie with the, like, head visor thing. And it looks like there might be another face in the background there, actually, which is really rather spooky. This is the arc corridor once more. That's the thing that I said before looked like the heart, but it's not a heart, so you don't need to worry about that. It's just those coils, I guess, with the red button on the back. And then this thing is basically slamming down on you. Doesn't look happy, does it? Actually, kind of looks like a scientist, almost. Like, that kind of looks like the remains of a lab coat to some extent. But it's going to basically just come through, start a slamming. It's going to give you a good look in the eye, and it's going to be like, boy, you done messed up? You done messed up? You're getting slammed now. And so that slam comes down. Things go a bit crazy visually. Boom. Call of Duty World War II, Nazi zombies. The one thing I did remember just while I was basically doing that entire breakdown is that, I'm not sure if I mentioned, but it kind of looks like there's a figure in the window in this shot here. Just figured that I would basically add that in, seeing as I forgot to mention it, I think, at the beginning. So, guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. Let me know if there's anything you want me to jump into more depth with in the comments down below. Just talk to me. I'll be responding to all the comments for the first, like, half an hour of this video going live, which is a thing that I'm going to start doing on all my videos now, I think. Like, first 20 minutes, half an hour, I'm just going to respond to as many comments as I can. So definitely comment, get in the notification squad, click that bell and subscribe and make sure you're getting notified. Drop a like on the video as well if you guys have enjoyed this. I've been MrRoflWaffles. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. And I guess I'll see you guys next time, okay? It's been emotional. Catch you later. Bye-bye.